How can I, one individual in a world of billions, hope to change anything? There are many reasons why this kind of defeatist question comes so easily to us. They include the way we have been brought up, a lifetime of putting up with things that frustrate or dismay us, and painful memories of failed attempts to do something. But the fact remains that we are all making a difference all the time. The real problem is that if we're only affecting things unconsciously, then we're probably not producing the effect we would wish for. Some people may find it hard to believe they are making a difference all the time, in which case it may help to abandon the global perspective for a moment and zoom into our daily human interactions, in which we spend every moment either deciding what must happen next or going along with somebody else's ideas. Either way, our actions are all purposeful and all produce effects. Our day-to-day lives are hardly the stuff of history, you might argue. Certainly not compared with Julius Caesar invading Britain, Genghis Khan sacking Baghdad, and Christopher Columbus discovering America. That's how many people understand history. The history of the world is but the biography of great men, wrote Thomas Carlyle. But the great man theory of history has been on its way out for years. Nowadays, we recognise that those men couldn't have done what they did on their own. And we identify historical significance in hitherto overlooked episodes. The Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy was one of the first to observe that history should more accurately be considered to consist of the combined effect of the many small things that ordinary individuals do every day. An infinitely large number of infinitesimally small actions. As Tolstoy saw it, we are making history from the moment we get up in the morning till we go to bed at night. And it's not only the things we do that make history, it's also the things we don't do. That's obvious when you think about, say, voting in an election or not. But taken to its logical conclusion, it also goes to show that we are making a difference even after going to bed. Because we're sleeping instead of, say, working all night on some earth-shaking political manifesto or patrolling the streets to feed the homeless. And that's fine, by the way. We all need to sleep. But Tolstoy's insight requires us to recognise that we are all responsible for the way things are. We are each absolutely essential, each totally irreplaceable, says the Native American activist Leonard Peltier. Each of us is the swing vote in the bitter election battle now being waged between our best and our worst possibilities. And yet the old idea ingrained in us throughout school that history is about the actions of dominant individuals is hard to shake off. Indeed, it seems that even in democracies it is positively encouraged. On the 20th anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down, world leaders flew into Germany to deliver speeches to the listening masses. It was striking that they came to take credit for this particular historical event, because world leaders had had very little to do with the wall's collapse. In reality, the barrier between East and West Berlin was pulled down because many ordinary Berliners did something very small. Having witnessed people power effecting significant change in several neighbouring countries and following massive protests elsewhere in East Germany, they merely turned up at the border to see what was going on. Soldiers at the control post, overwhelmed and likewise conscious of what had recently happened in neighbouring countries, opened the way for them to cross freely from one side of the city to the other. Soon after, the wall having ceased to be an effective barrier, it was pulled down. The fact that world leaders took the credit does not diminish the achievement, but does suggest that when changing the world, we can't necessarily expect recognition for it. When we talk about the ways the world frustrates us, we often reach for terms like the system or the status quo, and, shrugging, complain that we are powerless. We might do this if a great wall were built through the middle of our city, preventing us from seeing friends and relatives, but also in the face of much lesser hardships. Let's imagine for a moment that we want to hold a street party.